Welcome to Different Thought, where peace and manifestations come with every lesson learned. And if your knowledge were your wealth, then it will be well learned. Like a rolling stone. All right,
That
stop.
shit.
Everybody, welcome to Different Thought, where we examine the culture. I am your host, Mike Hayes. This is my co-host.
New Year, who this? But you can call me who this.
I refuse. I totally refuse. So, mama named Justin, I'm gonna call him Justin.
That's fine. All right, that's fine.
Who this? Wow.
I can't even get a. You can call me Hootie Who something, you know.
I go Hootie Hoo.
You go Hootie Hoo?
I go
All right.
Hootie Hoo.
All right.
I go Hootie Hoo. Knuckle up, buckle up, Hootie Hoo. Or what was the Outkast one?
Mm-hmm.
How did that one go?
Until you see something, I can't.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
So long ago. Dang, we that old.
Mm-hmm.
So we back at it again. Episode 2 of season 5. Take a shot for you. Who's your shot for? Hootie Hoo.
I'm taking my shot to myself. Just like I'm taking my talents to South Beach. No, I think we had a pre-discussion here. I like this idea of doing better on my shoe collection. So, not that I'm just, I'm still, starting up, and then I'm trying to like transition to another space. So I feel like I need to have some shoes to put in that space. So I want to restart some things and then do better. So one of these days, y'all might see this junk on Cribs or something. Who knows?
All right. Mine is a little serious. Well, it is serious. My shot is for brother Christopher Wright. Chris Wright is somebody I went to high school with who was tragically murdered last year, and the reason I wanted to take a shot for him was, and we can get into this as we talk about 2023, 2024. You just never know who's watching you. At Chris's memorial service, and he was murdered the day before our 20th year reunion, high school reunion. And Chris was actually heading up the reunion activities, but at his memorial, a lot of my former classmates came up to me, not a lot, but several of them came up to me and was just like telling me about how Chris had basically told them all about my life. The job. He was very interested in the job I had. I was working. He was very enthusiastic about it. Spoke very highly. And he also talked about this podcast. He was very intrigued and very tapped into what we were doing here with Different Thoughts. So Chris gave me motivation to keep this thing moving, and you may not see the results right away, but there's someone always watching you. And and then just take full advantage of the complete moment that you have, because you never know when it'll be your last. And as everybody knows, I've talked about it on this show before. My high school experiences were not fun, but this situation with Chris gave me a new perspective. Prior to that, I really had wanted nothing to do with my class and things of that nature. But seeing that and seeing the love that was bestowed onto me in that time of tragedy, I was like, there may be people out here that actually care about me. And hey, we were kids back then, so learning how to forgive. So this shot's to you, brother Chris. What am I drinking? Oh, Green Spot. So good whiskey.
Cool.
All right. And what you drinking?
I'm drinking the classy box wine.
Is it Boulder Box? Oh Lord.
No, it's something else. It's in a brown box. It's the step above the Boda box.
I thought Boda was like.
Look, don't worry about it. Hey man, don't worry about it, man.
All right, well,
Don't worry about
anyways, okay.
Asking too many questions.
Box Wine Friday. Alright, keep it moving, man. Straight like that. I'll kick off for straight like that. I mean, I gotta, as a parent, I got a message to you new parents out here.
New parents.
Don't go out here naming your children names that will eventually get them bullied or beat up.
That's true. Probably shouldn't do that.
And if you are gonna name them something that could go either way, don't go on IG and explain the reasoning behind the name and it be bad. Like, for instance, there's this woman on IG. Now, some people saying she's a comedian and it's not real, but this is what prompted me. She went on there and was like, I named my child Chlamydia because that's what her father gave me. And I was like, bruh. And then she had the audacity, the nerve to be like, that's what God wanted her to name her child. So God wants your child to be beat up. That's going to be that child's testimony when he grow up or she grow up. You know, I got beat up as a child because my name is Chlamydia. Everybody said I had that clap. So make it clap.
That's terrible. There's so much bad. God. So what if it's the last name that's bad? What do you do about that? You know, there was recently a kid on the internet and it's exposed by ESPN. His last name, I mean, I guess I can say it because it's the way what it was. His last name's nigga. He's a white dude. His name is spelled K-N.
Why?
His last name is spelled Kniga. So I don't know if it's like, because, you know, like Tennessee's got a kid by the name of Dalton Connect. So it's Knectcht, Connect. So to me, I would think it would be cut nigga. Either way, it's still, but then he says a K silent. So, because RG3 made a joke about it. It was like,
oh yeah, I did see that where he was just like, I'm just saying
that nigga can ball. And it's like, I was like, I guess, yeah. So what do you do?
I immediately thought,
what do you do?
Insert Dave Chappelle skit.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, 100%.
No, wait a minute.
But it's like, no, that's his name. But yeah, it's an example of that very thing.
I mean, last
name, I feel like that can't be real, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Last name, you can't do much about it, but because you didn't. Your first name is a choice.
Yeah.
Your first.
Your parents are setting you up for failure. By the way,
are a choice, bro. Like,
yeah, your parents are basically vindictive if they do that to you.
Yeah, but
they're
then,
just like, I don't have it good, so you can't either.
Yeah, but then it just be like, it's just like. Sorry, Paul. If you listen, man, I apologize in advance. It's just like when I pledged one of my sayings. His line name was excuses. I'm like, bro, why would y'all do that?
Oh.
Why would y'all do that?
Dang.
That's so evil.
Oh.
Like, that's so evil. So, you know, I saw, I'm not going to name the chapter, but there is a chapter in a certain state in the South that the AKAs they do their line names kind of like dudes, like fraternities do, where it's got a funny name, and her line name was "What That Mouth Do." So I'm just saying, like, don't be like, do you want your kid to be a boxer? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then name him that.
Right.
You know, MMA fighter? Yeah, okay.
Right.
Because they're gonna be fighting.
Right.
All right.
That's interesting. That's funny.
What was your straight like that?
Straight like that. I guess this kind of goes along the same lines. It's just one of those, like, you know, deep introspective thoughts and then really thinking about society around you and how people get upset about things. But it's like, blame your ancestors, not me. If you want to be mad about the way things are, get mad at your granddaddy. That's what I see.
This is your granddaddy.
Yeah, that's it. Take it where you want to. Run with it. Run.
In other words, try Jesus. Don't try me.
Not me.
Because I throw hands. All right, man. So we're going to keep this thing moving. We'll keep it in the theme of like 2024 last episode we talked about highs, lows, lessons learned, all that stuff. So now we're gonna talk about in 2024, what resolutions are we making? I guess we'll kick off and start off with, what is a resolution to you? What does that mean to you? Who to who?
Who do when you see cop? That's it. Resolution. So it's like, to me, it's closure, I guess, and it's like trying to close a loop on something. So, but I guess in terms of resolution for New Year, the people use, it's like kind of a new beginning or the start of a new circle. So I guess it's like, to me, I personally look at resolutions kind of like on a daily thing. Like, how can I be better than my previous self on a daily basis? And I guess, but at the same time, you got to have, I think like anything else, you got to have like a broader theme that kind of, so you can work within. And for me this year, my broader theme is completion, trying to finish things that I started, just because I somehow managed to put a bunch of irons in the fire this year, and I gotta finish it up in order to move on to the next step and the next phase of life, I think, for me. And so, between starting businesses and trying to build and invest in myself and all that stuff, it's like I'm excited to see what the future holds. So I think for me personally, I got to complete things in order to see what that is beyond that horizon, I guess.
Okay, so for me, I looked up the word itself. Resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And then similar words would be intention, resolve, decision, intent. So I think, I've made several resolutions based off of just things that I've learned over the last year. And for me, is intentionality, and positivity. Mm-hmm. So my resolution is to be intentional, take the first step, not be afraid of making the first step, and to always be positive. A lot of times, I think myself and others are and I, Hootie, you can tell me if you have this too, is we get in our own way of making that first step because we start to think of the negative connotation of what we're about to do and how we could fail and what's going to fail and this and that, instead of just thinking of concentrating and focusing on the positive. And the story that comes to my mind is, we were talking about shoes, and you brought that up too before the show, and I was thinking about Jordan and I think it was his.
It's so funny that you mentioned this. It's gonna make sense later, but keep going.
I can't remember if it was his rookie season or his second season, or maybe it was his third. I think it was the second season when he got hurt, and the owner was trying to get him to sit out. It's on The Last Dance. Mm-hmm. And his owner was trying to get him to sit out, and then the owner was talking about there's a 10% chance you could never play again if you get hurt again. And he was like, but there's a 90% chance that I won't get hurt. Mm-hmm. And he was basically like willing himself to only think about the positive. And you think about, there's another player like that, LeBron James. Everybody know I'm a LeBron James fan. LeBron, D Wade said this on Club Shay Shay. He was basically like, the thing about LeBron that makes him great is his mind. He would always, if he rolled his ankle in the game, they'd be like, man, your ankle all right? He'd be like, my ankle fine. What y'all talking about? Like, he wouldn't concentrate on that. And so, intentionality and being positive is the biggest resolution I have.
That what you're talking about is loss aversion. Naturally, people have a tendency to focus on the loss. So if there's a 10% chance that you'll lose something, we'll focus more on the fact that you're going to lose something as opposed to the 90 that you could win something.
Right.
And it's just it's a natural thing. You talk to anybody, go to Vegas about that. And it does. When you start to be able to refocus yourself and think about the percentage of winning over the losing, you do change how you move in life for sure.
Yeah, for me, that, and then just, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, just concentrating on the positives, the positive outcomes. Mm-hmm. I'm coaching my son, or assistant coaching my son's basketball team this year, and we just had a game last week, and all the kids would get the ball, get in front of the hoop. And this is just a new thing I've never seen. Like, when I was a kid, everybody was shooting. We weren't trying to pass the ball. But these kids these days were sitting
They
there
want to
doing,
share.
they were just doing this.
Oh,
right
it's pump fake.
They were just pump fake and just and we were like, shoot the ball. And so we had to we had to tell them like, you know, don't be afraid to shoot the shot.
Pump it.
You know, it's a 50-50 chance that it's gonna go in. And I think a lot of times we think about the 50% chance that it's not going in. Just shoot your shot. You know, shoot your shot, and you know that's something else. When I've been thinking about like when I think about generational curses and things of that nature. That's one thing I've been trying to instill in my son this year, and you know the tail end of last year and beginning of this year is like, don't be afraid to do something different. Don't be afraid to try it, and if you fail, be open to the lesson and not worry and not focus on the failure.
Every experience is a good experience.
All right. So how well have you stuck to your resolutions in the past?
Personally, I feel like I've done decent. I think because I try not to tie my resolutions to a specific goal. I try to tie it more to a feeling of accomplishment. It's kind of like, instead of saying I'm going to focus on going to the gym 5 days a week, I'm saying I want to focus on being more fit. So whatever that means to be that, I don't have something that's totally quantifiable to allow myself to get in the mindset of, well, I only made it 4 days a week, so I'm failing. You know what I'm saying? So I guess for me, it's like, as long as I'm making forward progress, I feel pretty good about it. But there are definitely times that you get to the end of the year and it's just like, I don't know what the heck, like how I got here, what am I doing? Like 2022 was bad for me just because, shoot, like I broken ribs and back and knee surgery and all of that stuff, and it's just like, I was like, God, I was just in bad shape, and it just really felt like I just felt helpless in a lot of ways in that year, and then some of it was out of my control, some of it was in my control, but still it was just like, just a bad feeling all around. But then 23 is like, oh shoot, yeah, we in this thing. Like, life is great.
I would say I've never really stuck to resolutions because I never really made them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I say certain things and be like, oh yeah, let's do this, or we're gonna do that, and it don't ever work because as I've said in the past, it's like focusing on the negativity part of it instead of focusing on what went right. I think that's been the biggest issue. So honestly, the answer to that question.
I give, for all the people in the world that can like say, I'm gonna give up drinking and do a dry January or whatever it is, or stop, just cut off whatever this thing is, and people that accomplish that, more power to you. I'm so proud of you. But I am incapable. I am incapable and unable to accomplish such a task to be able to do that. But I will definitely do like damp Januaries. You know, like I can do that. I can moderate, but cutting things off like people can do sometimes, it's like I don't know how folks do it, but more power to you.
Yeah, I can't cut things off because to me it's like, for me, cutting things off for a certain amount of time means that eventually it's gonna get back to the same old, and then it's like, well,
you're gonna be fat.
Yeah, like it's like, well, I'm gonna continue to, I get to a point where I'm like, I said dry January, but I'm gonna be drinking in February,
right?
And then January 20th come around, I'm like, well, I'm gonna be drinking
anyway.
Drinking about 11 days, I'm gonna be drinking. So what's it gonna mean?
Which is why it's like, behavior wise, it's like psychologically, it makes more sense to say I'm going to drink less as opposed to I'm not going to drink it all for 30 days. Yeah. And it just like, it's a better way to approach it than like a full on, like resolutions to me are just kind of like, it's just something to do. It's kind of like Christmas, but we make the best of it.
It's funny you said it because like for me, I learned discipline when I decided to go to this intermittent fasting thing. And
Yeah.
all that don't know,
Which is still ridiculous to me.
I do 20. I do 20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of eating.
Yeah, that sounds dumb. It sounds as dumb to me as it does to y'all that are listening.
I don't. So, but it has opened up so many other.
I mean, it works for Mike.
It has opened up. So I lost almost 50 pounds.
Because Mike done lost a whole Mike.
I done lost. I done lost 50 pounds. My workout regimen is taking off, and y'all hearing it first. I've challenged myself this next year to try to qualify for the quarterfinals of CrossFit.
What are you gonna do the CrossFit Games?
I'm gonna try.
I watched the junk on TV and I'm like, I want to do that. But then I'm like, that looks painful.
It does.
It looks terrible.
It is. So, matter of fact, I just met with my coach and I'm about to meet with some other coaches to kind of figure out.
Look, I'll be there. I'll be there rooting you on
to figure out how to make this happen. Not for this year, but for 2025. That's the goal.
Yeah,
is to qualify after the Open. So,
I'll be there hollering at the CrossFit Games chicks. I'll be like, hey girl,
but it all started with taking that first step. And that's what I meant. Like, that's the biggest thing I learned over the years is, when I first got into CrossFit, if y'all would have been in the gym, y'all would have been rolling, dog. Because some of the stuff that they asked me to do, I was looking at them like, hey, bro.
I remember you talking about it.
Hey, bro.
I would have done the same thing. I'd have been sitting there looking at you. I've been like, look.
I can't. This ain't in my forte. But I'm surprised of how many leaps and gains once I got out of my head of just, I'm failing to just like, I'm just going to go in here and try. Mm-hmm. Let me go in here and try. Let me go in here and try. And each day, that's all I ever said. And everything else started to follow.
That's what it's about, though. You just got to try.
What did we learn in 2023 that we're bringing into 2024? I already said, like, for me, intentionality and positive thinking, I learned that towards the end. I did have some mishaps happening towards the end of the year, and I'm like, okay, I sat with my thoughts and said, all right, I need to be more intentional and more positive thinking instead of concentrating on the failure, concentrating on the success. You, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And the failure is not a failure, it's an opportunity to learn. So
I think what I learned in 23 is I thought I was patient until I've gone through recent experiences and new things that taught me that, like, maybe I'm not as patient as I thought, and trying to be in more control of my own anxiety and not let that guide me, because I realized that because I'm so independent, I've been able to be in control of my own destiny. But the things that I've been doing over the course of the last year are not in my control, and I have to learn how to accept those things and just go along for the ride, which most of the time I thought I could do, but then some things it's just like, it's just like, I don't...
The serenity prayer, basically?
Yeah, it's just like, so it's like, dang. And it's just accepting that and just rolling with it, allowing life to play out the way it's supposed to. Again, which is something I thought I was good at, but I've just learned that I'm not, and trying not to let my anxiety take the best of me.
Is anybody good at that?
I have no idea. I don't know.
People genuinely just don't like when things don't go their way.
Well, it's not necessarily that it doesn't go my way. It's more or less like you put, like, I whenever I set out to do anything, I have a vision and a plan on how it should go, and then sometimes things will march along that plan, and then sometimes they deviate, and then sometimes you just completely off course, and you're just like, I don't know how we got here. Why are we here? How do we get back to where we're supposed to be? And it's that uncertainty associated with that path that has proven itself to be difficult for me, particularly when you have compounding things that stack on top of themselves. If it's one thing, it's fine, but when it's like 5, it becomes overwhelming. So it's like, how do I manage that?
So I've started to, when things like that happen and compound like that, I start to stop and go, okay, what's the lesson that I'm not receiving right now?
Mm-hmm.
And the universe, the higher power, whatever you believe in, what is it that is trying to tell you? And through that, I've become more introspective and understanding of things, and it has opened up my patience to be more like, this happened for a reason. If I'm late,
Yep.
if I'm late for work, there was a reason I was late. There was something that I needed to see or something that needed to happen or take place. Or I'm also learning, like, I'll go back to the situation with Chris, what if I had went out that day and been with him, what would have went right and what could have went wrong? Like, I could have been Chris or something of that nature. And it's just like sometimes things happen to keep you protected, and you may not like the outcome up front, but it may be a reason for that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I've learned that. All right.
Okay.
It's time for the different thought. Different thought.
Nobody sad stuff.
We've been serious. So the different thought this time is gonna be kind of funny yet kind of serious. So what are we leaving behind in 2023, and what should we as a culture let go of moving forward in 2024? Like words, phrases, events, styles. What are I'll kick it off as far as styles go. We were talking about this. Ladies,
I got one for style.
Ladies, don't get mad at me.
Ladies, I know one for ladies.
This new trend of not shaving, I'm sorry. We got to leave that back in 2023. Like, let's get back to.
Is that new?
It's new to me.
Okay.
I was watching what's the movie with, it had Lawrence from I know that's not his real name, but Lawrence from Insecure. He's in it, and he's about to get married to a black woman, and he used to date this, I think it's somebody I used to know or something like that. And his fiance doesn't shave their armpits, and it's like, and she's always wearing tank tops, and I was like, that's not
busting out.
Man, I was like,
it's like, hey, how you doing?
No, and I get it, this is how this is natural, da 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 da. I get that. However, if I showed up and I let my hair just go with my effed up hairline, nobody would accept it, bro. If I showed up and grow out my hair and my hairline back here in the middle of my head,
we be moving on up.
Y'all be like, bro, you need to let it go. So don't come for me if I'm out here living my life with my hair looking all out of place and not groomed, but then be like, oh, and then I'm not single anymore.
Look,
but however, if I was a single man and I just grew my hair out like that, I get no play. Let's just be honest.
You would not.
So therefore, I just don't agree with this new style. And call me old school.
I mean,
call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm gonna be real.
You are not wrong in terms of grooming and hygiene and all that type of stuff. I think it's the independence. It's a movement thing. I don't know, and I'm not going to speak on any lady's behalf, but Mike isn't wrong, because like Mike, I'm also follically challenged, and if I come out here with a full-blown George Jefferson or Reginald Vell Johnson, y'all are nobody gonna come up and say, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Nobody's gonna look at me twice. So I mean, like, don't have the expectation for me if you come out here with a fro busting out the front of your arm, smelling like crystals. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not going to talk to you. Like, it's not going to be a thing. And don't be mad at me if I don't. like I'm saying. So, no, we got 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes, dog.
Oh God.
Look. Phrases and words we got to leave behind. Look, so half of these I don't understand, because I'm admittedly old. We both pushing up on 40, and I'm okay with it, and I love it. And some of these is just like, I get most of them, but then some of them, like, I'm still trying to understand Riz. I don't know what that means and what it's
Riz makes no sense.
What it's derived from. Like, I don't know. It just feels like somebody just threw words in a blender and said, hey, this is what I got, and I'm going to use it to describe this thing. What does it describe, Mike?
It's game.
Riz
like
describes
your
great.
Game.
My game.
Like you spit into
so for us, it was. I guess the last time I used
Spit your game.
Well, it was game and it was drip. That was the last closest thing. But even drip is like style and swag and all that type of stuff. And swag was before that. So now how do we get from swag, stilo? It was like what? Stilo, style, stilo, drip, swag to Riz. Like all of those words made sense and you could visualize it. Now it's like,
what is a Riz?
What is a Riz? So somebody tell me that.
I would like to know the origin of Riz.
I hope somebody can tell me that. It's gonna be
for the listeners out there.
It's gonna be something dumb. It's gonna be dumb. Mike, don't ask for it.
No,
you're not gonna like this.
DM me _shoes_me.
You're not gonna like it
on IG and give me the real definition of Riz, bro. I really want to know how this came about.
It's gonna be stupid
because game makes sense.
It's gonna be something on TikTok.
Game makes sense. Spit your game makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if I'm spitting at a chick, I'm talking. A lot of people can't control their mouth.
I mean, all of it. You can illustrate it.
Yeah, but I can't.
I don't know
what's Riz?
Mm.
Rizzle? I mean, like
nobody knows.
I could understand if it was Fizz.
It's
maybe.
Dr. Seuss. That's what it is. Dr. freaking Seuss. Anyway, so we're gonna leave Riz behind in 2023. To go back to what you talking about before, as far as styles behind, I feel like we should leave big eyelashes behind. Can we wear regular size eyelashes, ladies? Because like these chicks coming out here looking like Snuffleupagus, and it makes me uncomfortable. I mean, I'm saying like, I feel like am I on Sesame Street right now? Because this is not cool. Like I don't like what you're doing right here with your eyes in my face. Like you might poke my eye out. Like we talking too close. Like I don't want to do that.
Well, my thing is this, bro. Like I don't know what it's like to be single, but I would hate for the next next morning to be, who is this person? This is not the person I met at the club.
Oh, Mike, they don't come off. They don't come off. They just stuck in a different place on their face.
Exactly. Like, wait a minute. What was it? The Will Smith episode where he get locked in with the girl he date the girl, he get locked in the big basement, the Fresh Prince episode.
Oh yeah. She's like,
I don't even know if my body is mine, or
right?
something like that. That's how I feel.
That was Gina, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was Gina.
Yeah, I think it was.
Tisha Campbell, yeah.
I think it was, but my mind just automatically was like, bro, like, what are you selling? Like,
right. I don't know why. I don't like all of
that's like me putting on a muscle suit.
Yeah, but apparently, here's the thing. Some of these dumb KNIGAs out here to listen to that junk and think is whatever, and it's like they cater to it and it's great. Apparently,
that's like me. I know
the junk's wild to me.
That's like I know I'm short, but imagine this is how I feel about it. Imagine if you meet me and I'm 6'2", and we get home and now I'm 5'6".
But the thing is, but even in that regard, as far as eyelashes go, nobody's eyelashes stick out half an inch from their face. Like, in what I can understand if you're trying to emulate something that exists, like 6'5" people exist. Nobody's eyelashes are that long. Nobody's. So what's the point of doing it?
And with that, in the grand concept of faith, our Before You Eat today is brought to you by the brother Martin Luther King, where he talks about faith. So, on September 12, 1962, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave a speech to the Park Sheraton Hotel in New York City to honor the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation on the eve of its centennial anniversary. At a dinner organized by New York Civil War Centennial Commission, Dr. King spoke on the importance of the Emancipation Proclamation in the American history, arguing that the document proved that government could be a powerful force for social justice. He urged Governor Nelson A. Rockefeller and President John F. Kennedy to hasten integration and progress towards full civil rights. During the speech, Brother King stated the following: "Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase." And I'm going to leave the link in this posting for you to go see the full speech, because it was actually thought that this speech was lost, and it recently, until I think it was 2013, 2012, I think, where they found the speech. So with that, go look up on this speech. You know, I love a lot of King's speeches outside of the "I Have a Dream" speech, the different America, or the other America, this speech, and others. So just go out there and read about it, do more research, and learn more. And as always, I challenge you all to think, do, be different. Thank you for listening to Different Thought Podcast.